So a compound can be defined as a substance that contains two or more elements chemically combined together. Or we can define compound and say a compound is a pure substance that contains two or more elements chemically combined together and cannot be easily separated by ordinary chemical means. So the definition is as simple as this. From this definition, we will understand that a compound is not just only one substance. It contains two or more substances, which are called elements. It contains two or more elements that are combined together chemically. So when they are combined together chemically, they form one type of substance. And that is why a compound is also pure, because these two elements or more elements that are combined together cannot just be separated by ordinary chemical means. It will take a long process and a very hard process to separate them. So a good example of a compound is water, the water that we drink and we use for our domestic activities or many other things is a compound. So the chemical formula for water is H2O, meaning that a combination of both hydrogen and oxygen will give us H2O, which is water. This hydrogen and oxygen are already combined chemically, and this can never be separated easily by ordinary chemical means, and unless we use some other means like electrical method, like electrolysis. Another example of a compound is salt, our table salt, which is sodium chloride. So in salt, we can see that the combination of both sodium and chlorine form salt. These two elements have been combined chemically, which can never be separated easily by ordinary chemical means. Another example is sulfuric acid, which is tetraoxosulfate 6 acid. So sulfuric acid, tetraoxosulfate 6 acid is made up of hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. These three elements have been combined chemically. There is no way we can separate them easily by ordinary chemical means. Another example is limestone, calcium triacylcarbonate. So this is also called calcium carbonate. That's calcium triacylcarbonate 4, which is a good source of cement, chalk, and so on. It is also a compound which is made up of calcium, carbon, and oxygen, and this cannot be separated easily by chemical means. Another example is carbon 4 oxide that we breathe in, which is CO2. Carbon 4 oxide is the gas that we breathe in, that we breathe out, which is CO2. And it is a combination of both carbon and oxygen, which cannot be easily separated by chemical means. Another compound is the oxygen gas, O2. So the oxygen that we breathe in is also a gas. So that's why we call it oxygen gas. So it's a combination of two atoms of oxygen, which are chemically combined together to form one molecule of oxygen gas, which is O2. And these two oxygen atoms cannot be easily separated by ordinary physical means. So at least these are little examples of compound. We have many more examples of compound that we deal with in our everyday life. So now let's consider the definition of mixture. A mixture is a substance or is an impure substance which contains two or more constituents physically combined together and can be easily separated by physical means. So from this definition, we can see that a mixture is an impure substance. Why? Because it is made up of several kinds of instruments that are combined together in any proportion. We don't have a fixed proportion in this combination. And one thing about mixture is that all these constituents can be separated easily by physical method, unlike compound that cannot be easily separated. These can be separated by using any suitable separation techniques among our separation techniques, which are about 13 or 14 methods. It can be sieving, it can be decantation method, it can be distillation method, it can be chromatography, and it can be fractional distillation, it can be crystallization or fractional crystallization, it can be decantation, it can be filtration, it can be separating funnel, etc. So this shows that a mixture is substance that can easily be separated. And we have several examples of mixture. A good example of mixture is blood. So blood is a mixture of several constituents which can be easily separated. So one thing about mixture is that they don't have chemical formula, unlike compound that have chemical formula. Look at blood. Blood cannot be represented by any chemical formula because it contains several constituents. Among the constituents of the blood is the red blood cell. So we have the red blood cell, white blood cell, blood platelets, and plasma inside our blood. And each one of these things are special constituent components on their own, which cannot be separated and which can easily be separated. And this is not chemical combination. They are just combined physically together. Another example of mixture is the solution of sodium chloride in water. So the solution of salt in water is also a mixture because it contains both salt and water, which can be easily separated by physical means. Another example of mixture is milk. So milk is also a combination of several constituents, and this cannot be represented by a chemical formula. That's why milk is also a mixture. Another example of a mixture is seawater. And seawater is made up of several components. Water is part of it, salt is there, and impurities and dead organic substances like bacteria are all inside seawater. With all of this, seawater is a mixture of several components which cannot be represented by chemical formula. And this component can be easily separated, and that's why it's a mixture. Other examples of mixture are soil, we have muddy water, soup, even soap that we use for washing, etc. We have several other examples of mixture. Thank you for viewing this. God bless.